let's get on to talking something a little more exciting, a little more fun. Bart is back.
Hello,
Welcome.
Ron. Good to see you again.
So last time you were in, you were just heading out to Mexico to take a group of veterans and maybe show them the light.
Yeah. We just got back.
How was it? How was it? And do you feel like you're making progress?
Yeah. This retreat was 11 veterans, and then myself and my partner. So we're vets. So there's 13 of us.
Okay.
And then my wife came down. She does crystal bowl meditations, and we do those at night. And then we had 3 or 4 instructors. So there's about 18 to 20 of us down in Mexico. And
what's the mission? Because those who didn't hear you last time.
Yeah, the mission is to create an environment where people can take the pack off, do some reflection, increase and feel that camaraderie that you might have had in a team, a platoon, a squadron, and just really start to spread a energy that you're not alone. And,
not alone.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I'll obviously protect the names or protect the people. Names will remain out of this, but I'd say over half of the people I had really serious sit downs with for 2-3 hours at a time, just talking about life and marriages and what they're doing after the military. And these guys are unbelievable operators, and some of them are 30+ year veterans, right? And having the chance to create this space for them, they're really powerful. And I got direct feedback that we really made a difference. So it was.
We appreciate that. I mean, that's great. We appreciate. I mean, first I would say we appreciate your service. I mean,
thanks.
All that you've done
for
our
volunteered.
Country. Did you volunteer to go down to the border and do paperwork?
No,
wasn't quite the same volunteer.
Well, it's kind of funny. We have quite a recruitment problem. So shocking, right?
Yeah,
it's amazing, right?
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, we don't want to get in that part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but it's
go wherever you want. Right?
Yeah, but the fact that you're out there helping these veterans.
Yeah.
And obviously, you being a veteran and bringing these folks down there, we've got a big problem there.
Yeah, we do.
And at least you got 11 lives that maybe changed.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the whole focus is maybe, and I don't know if you focus this
please.
way, but if you and your partner, you got you two, and you can help 11, and maybe those 11 can each help another 11.
Yeah, that's
now you're what 132, something like that.
Yeah. And so this is our 5th, I think, retreat. So we put over 50 people through, and we're just and it's funny. Like, we go down to Mexico. It's at the Grand Palladium in Puerto Vallarta. They treat us great. They know we're coming and everything, but you just take them out of the environment. And then, we charge them when, we have this incredible dinner at night, the last night, and we just say, okay, you're about to go back up north, right? Bring the light, right? And we give them a challenge coin, and we're like, go forth and tell people about this and spread it, right? So, like you said, 50 becomes another 50, and it just takes a ripple, right? So we're trying our best.
And that's the way that, I'll share this. One of my favorite people on the radio program was a gentleman named Frank Shankwitz.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know Frank or knew Frank, but Frank was a motor officer, an Arizona motor officer, and highway patrol.
Yeah.
And started a little group that you may have heard of. It's called Wishes. Wishes.
Make a wish.
Make a wish.
That's okay.
I guess a senior moment. I need that Eli Lilly drug, please. Make a Wish Foundation. Right. And it was by granting one wish to one little boy.
Yeah.
And Frank, before he passed, had turned that over to other people because it got so big.
Yeah.
Right. And think about what you're doing right here. You've got your five missions helping, 10, 15 people each time who can then help 10 or 15.
Exactly.
And at some point in time, maybe we can get rid of all those statistics or turn those statistics around.
Yeah.
Because, you say you have one person that had 30 years, and we've all seen the news where there was a high-ranking officer who had a lot of years in talking to other people about the military, and then goes out and commits suicide.
Yeah. In fact, Admiral Sterney, I flew with, he was over in Bahrain. He's a 3-star admiral, right? What's that do to the young men and women who are joining, and when someone who's in charge? So the level of darkness, it's and we focus on the 44 deaths a day. I'm trying to turn that around but look how many people didn't. Right. And it's right. Let's focus on life. Let's focus on this amazing country we live in. Right. And
with all our problems, it's still the best.
Absolutely. And the men and women who've gone overseas, I don't think anybody should have to join the military if they don't want to, but there's something about going around the world and seeing, okay, we might have our lumps, but it's still the best country in the world.
It is. Really is. There's a lot of great stuff in our men and women out there, when given the opportunity, do a lot of great things.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that some of us, I will say that I never served, but I love chatting and doing everything I can, even as a civilian, to try and support those that did. I do a monologue every morning.
Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that monologue in Russia or China? I might
won't.
I might get through the first 30 seconds.
That's right.
I mean, but it's because of men and women like yourself that we can do that, and we have these freedoms that, well, unfortunately, some of us are trying to get rid of the freedoms, or give them up. But hey, that's people's right.
Absolutely.
We've got the right to be stupid.
Yeah.
Continue our conversation. Bart is in the house talking about his mission, his newest mission. You went on a lot of missions. You've got a heck of a challenge now.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because at one point you're battling a known enemy, and now you're battling an unknown.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're telling me during the break, there's a lot of it's humans.
Yes.
Right. And humans that have been put into some ugly situations.
It's not pretty.
You're right. And done some things for those of us, and then come back and try to fit in, from what I've been told from a lot of the veterans that we've had on the broadcast. And I love doing whatever we can on Ron Singer Radio to support our veterans.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah.
Because you guys have your mission. It's a tough mission.
Yeah, it is. And like we were talking at the break, not a psychologist or anything like that, but we'll
talk a little bit about that, Bart, because
you're
a military man, fighter pilot, guy that studies and understands charts.
I don't know if that helps.
And now
maybe that helps.
but my point is that you've got this whole background, and it's not a background of really saving lives, and you're doing that now.
Well, we're trying, right? I think I'm not a Bible beater, right? And I had to distill it down to what is the root cause here, right? I think a lot of it is sleep. There's a group called 62 Romeo, Rob Sweetman, that he was a SEAL and he couldn't sleep, and the nightmares, and so he got a PhD in sleep, and he's created this program. So that has something to do with it. A lot of these drugs that they're on are just whacking the mind out. A lot of it's traumatic brain injury, right? So there's a whole host of things that are going into causing this mental distress. So I just broke it down to, love your God with all your heart and all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then I just kind of thought, well, there's a spark of divine in all of us.
Yeah.
We're all connected, right? So if I love myself, then I'm naturally going to love my neighbor. I'm naturally going to love my God, whatever God that is.
Sure.
Right? And so what we do is we preach while we're at the retreat, self-love, right? Who are you, and love yourself, right? And
hard to love someone else when you don't love yourself.
You can't, right? Impossible, right? And
so when you're contemplating, and I've never done it, so
me neither.
I'm supposing that when you contemplate suicide,
you don't love yourself.
You don't love yourself. There's a problem there.
That's right. And so
talking about root causes.
Yeah. So we're like, look, the world is awash in self-loathing, especially now, right? And especially what we've come through as a universe through the lockdowns, and I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, I don't care, but the division is all this. It's like, okay, just stop.
The left hates the right hates the left. So everybody just hates everybody.
That's right. So it means they don't love themselves.
Right.
So the way we speak, the way we talk, the way we act. I did a 10-minute meditation before coming in, and I just was sitting out in the parking lot, and I was just saying, hopefully someone will hear our discussion, and they'll call me, and they'll go on a retreat, or they'll reach out to a friend, right?
or from what I've learned from others that are have a similar mission to you, Bart, is I know veterans don't need help, right? Because they tell you that. So if
they do, the ones
right?
do. Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, if you are a veteran and you know a friend that needs help, go together.
Yes. Well, that's
Right?
great. Yeah.
Because veterans, by definition or by training, our veterans are built and trained and programmed that, you know, I'm going to go out there and I don't need help, but I'm got to look out for my brother.
Yes.
And I don't mean brother or sister, you know, in a gender issue,
Yes.
brother, sister, whatever.
Yes.
But veterans are trained to go out there and take out care of their brother.
Yeah. In you know, even in the midst of the insanity of what's going on in the politics and all this different stuff, you forget about that when you're serving. And what counts is the lady next to you to the left, the man next to you to the right. You're serving with them. Right. No matter how crazy it appears from DC.
Sure.
And it's always been, whether the right wing's in, left wing's in, it's just insanity.
Yeah, it's irrelevant who's in.
That's right.
They're nuts.
It's your fellow service member.
Right.
And we create that space where, and I, you know, I don't talk about it very often at all. But I do. I'm like, hey, I flew for 12 years. I was a Top Gun graduate, strike lead, and we have a lot of very high-end operators who come down, right? And so I have to qualify it because I just want people to know, okay, I was at the top of my game once too, and you were. Now it doesn't matter. What matters is you have a space where you can come, have fun. There's no judgment, right? Everyone's working through whatever,
right?
But this is what it used to be like. And like I was talking about in the break, the best time are the family style meals and that little happy hour before dinner, because guys are just sitting there having a cocktail, just laughing and telling stories. And you can just see from the beginning of the week to the end of the week, the shoulders. And I throughout the week, I'm like, hey, just, and you can see it works. So,
so bring it, if you are a veteran, bring a friend.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Your friend you may be saving your friend's life.
And you don't even have a clue.
And yeah, exactly. So
you never know.
It's an issue of getting involved, and you know, it's almost like a new mission.
I'm feeling very empowered and passionate about it, right? Because it's a tragedy, a national tragedy, and there's a lot of wonderful organizations, and we just need to get the word out, right? That you're not alone. There's no reason for you to suffer in silence, and get out on the water. The Vogue Veterans Outdoor Advocacy Group is trying to lobby Congress, and they've done an amazing job. So you can go use your GI Bill now and become a river guide or a rock climbing guide, right? And there's hunting groups, there's hiking groups. We use surf as the modality, right? Get out and live, right? And that's our saying: surf, live. Like, get out and live, man. Life is great. And yeah, you might have had we've all had screw ups.
Sure.
Don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing right there. And how do you you don't succeed. I hate to make it so trivial.
No.
But my son had a football coach, and he used to say his motto was he was not going to cut anybody from the team, because if they cut somebody from the team, how do they guide and train and teach them and develop them?
Yeah.
Right. And you're doing the same thing, as you're looking and saying, hey, you know something, come with us and we can join this mission to help a lot of our brothers.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you know, no one's going to listen to some character that's on the radio all the time. But the idea that I want to try and bring out there and to share is these groups are around. There's some great ones, and I'm sure there's some that aren't so great.
Yeah.
But, you know, get involved with a group, help Bart in his mission. There's a lot to be done. We're going to talk when we come back. I want to know how we can help.
Wonderful.
How there's ways of you know, you said that each mission is $50,000.
Yeah.
Right. The idea is you got to have a lot of missions, right?
We'd like to do more.
Right. So
yeah.
That bottom line, we're gonna chat more with Bart when we come back.
So Ron, shameless plug for Tijuana.
Go ahead.
Multiple guys did the Tijuana to Puerto Vallarta flight, $109.
Wow.
You get to the border, you walk over. Have you heard about it? Because
no.
Yeah, and you walk right into the ticketing area. It's incredible. It's the deal to do if you're going to fly to Mexico.
Wow.
You make it down to take the train, maybe down. You're going to save yourself hundreds of dollars.
I haven't been to Puerto Vallarta, and there's only one reason I know this answer. So it's 36 years since I've been to Puerto Vallarta.
How? Why?
That was my honeymoon.
Okay. Very nice.
And I survived. I'm not sure my wife is so happy about it, but that's a whole different story.
Isn't it funny with marriage? The more you stay married, the more you realize you probably should have never been married. My wife and I are completely opposites.
Are you
coming
really?
up on 33 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we're opposites too.
Yeah.
I'm introverted. People say, how do you talk on the radio every day? Because there's only 2 of us here. Right. And I know there's 7 listeners, but there's but she's outgoing and vivacious and always ready to go, the life of the party. And I used to say I'm a wallflower, but I'm more like a stump, right? Just because I'm a little bigger than a flower. But it's
sting like a bee, though.
I don't move that fast. Muhammad moved a little quicker than me. But let's get back to our conversation.
Okay,
We're talking about Bart's mission. What's the name of the group? We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, right. So we're called the Stand Up Veterans Foundation, but we call ourselves the SUP Vets.
I think that's the name of the website too, right?
Yeah, thesupvets.org. We certified nonprofit. We went through all that. In fact, when we're like, we got to do this, I bought the book, How to Start a Nonprofit for Dummies.
Oh, okay.
I was on a business trip. I literally took the book and went like that for about 2 hours as I flew somewhere. And I'm like, oh, I think I know what we're going to do. So yeah, there's our motto: surf and live.
Do you have to surf?
No. So we actually had 2 people, Christian, who was with us last time,
right.
Christian White. He came down. He'd never been on a board before, and he caught waves. There was another individual.
And he caught waves?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Within 2 or 3 days, he was catching waves on a stand-up paddleboard.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's people who are really good at surfing to never been and everything in between.
So I need you to show me. I can't even stand up on a stand-up paddleboard.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. There's a little pool, and they take them to the pool. We call it the penalty box. And they're there for 2 or 3 hours, just paddling in circles, getting it, and then we take them out.
I can kayak, but standing up on the board is
stand up surfing. They were surfing.
Wow.
It's really cool to watch the progression. And then the part of the group, right? Everyone's kind of surfing together, and then the people who are just starting out, and everyone's cheering them on. Once they catch a wave, you got all these people. It's that
really sounds
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It sounds like what a great organization.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a good time. It's really cool. And then,
now, are all of the people that are going with you in some level of distress?
No. We talk to people, right? Because, we want to make sure that, someone's in the right mental state to go to another country and all that stuff. But I have talked to people and they're very open. And then, one individual, he never caught a wave. It was incredible. He was a combat medic in Fallujah, one of the bloodiest battles, right? And and he's like, I have really bad PTSD. And so I said, look, I'm sorry you have that affliction, but I'm not going to say that ever again. I.e., yes, that sucks, but let's do something about it, right? And he's like, thank you for saying that. And I just said, are you going to be an issue? No. All right, you're invited, right? So probably should have more of a, but it's gut
You've got
feel.
A very scientific method of
it's gut feel, and we, knock on wood, it would not had any issues at all. In fact, guys are sleeping better down there. It's just take the pack off, right? But you don't have to be in any type of distress. And we're not necessarily a tier 1 organization that can directly fight people who are in extremist situations mentally or physically, right? We're kind of like a tier 2 organization. Go to the professionals, get all that. But when you want to learn a new skill, get out in the ocean, feel the power of the ocean. There's a book called The Blue Mind. I think I talked about it last time. It objectively and scientifically proves the effects that the ocean has on us, all the way from the brain to the.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's true, right? So
I was having, on a very, very minute level, I was having trouble with plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
And my chiropractor said, go down to the beach and just, squeeze your toes in the sand.
Yeah.
And the power of just the earth.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right there in the water and whatnot. And it helped. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I said, heck, he should have called Albert Pujols when he's with the Angels.
It was so. It's hard to describe how quiet it was when we did the paddle out Friday morning around 5:45 in the morning. And you're just sitting there floating on the ocean, and it was just so quiet. You could hear a pin drop in the water, but it was so, and you could just feel the ocean, right? And guys were just like, "This is powerful."
It's amazing just listening to the stories and I was fortunate enough during the break, Bart actually played a message that he received. Powerful information. The things that you're doing.
Thanks.
It brings chills to you.
Yeah, I get emotional about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I love these men and women.
Yeah, I mean, we need really just think about what you're doing and how does somebody get involved? I mean, if you want to
absolutely
help or any, what do we do?
Yeah, we need help, right? It's all about raising money.
Okay.
So it costs about $3,500 to $4,000 a vet. We had 18 people attend from professional instructors. We have 2 of our group go, right? So net to put a big event on like we do, 18 people for a week, resort, boards, everything, videos, photos, right? All that. It's about $50,000 to $60,000, right?
Wow.
So
and how many of these do you do a year?
We want to do 2 a year. That's our goal. We'd like to do 4, right?
Okay.
But that gets into the logistics of the instructors and all that stuff. But at a minimum, we try to do 2 a year. So net we need about $100,000 to pull that off. We don't pay ourselves. It's all volunteer and everything. But we'd like to get to the point where we're able to do these more and everything.
Well, you need more people to as far as instructors. If you can do 4, because I mean, you're talking about the instructors have to be dedicating
Exactly.
4 weeks plus whatever the prep time is.
That's right. And that's a part of it too, right? These men and women were very professional operators, right? And so if we had schlepp instructors, we'd lose the effectiveness. Our instructors are professionals. They're from Generation, GENRATION, and one was the APP, Association of Professional Paddleboards. He's world champion 2018. Sean Pointer, Daniel Hughes is a bronze medal winner in the Pan Am Games. He's an Olympian. We had Fernando, who was the Mexican national champion, and then Lauren Saxby kind of runs all of it. So these guys, and we have Ian Carnes. He couldn't make it this time. He's a World Surfing League Hall of Famer.
Wow.
So we have the best stand-up paddleboarders in the world teaching the best operators in the world. So it's a great
that's an interesting correlation there, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys, yourself, I'll say you. I mean,
maybe back in the day, Ron.
No, but a Top Gun fighter pilot,
Yeah.
that's the best of the best.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no competition there.
No.
So when you've gone in and you've put yourself out to that level and the people that you're working with, you're not looking to say, okay, I've got Johnny that just flunked out of school,
exactly,
or Mr. Spicoli coming out there. He's not you're not gonna connect.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
And so a lot of these guys and gals were really high performers. And so you'll see them like often, 20 yards away from the rest of the group talking to one of the professionals. And, some of these guys who've attended are like, I'm into complete water sports now, right? I'm doing everything. And they talk to them about what it took to be a world champion, right? And what did it take to be a SEAL or a fighter pilot or a ranger, right? And there's the corollaries are very powerful, right? And so that's a match where magic happens, right? We put something together, honestly.
Should we say dumb luck, Bart?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful.
You know what luck stands for, don't you?
No, please.
Labor under correct knowledge.
Very nice. I've never heard that before.
Right. So,
and Navy's never again volunteer yourself. So I learned that one.
Yeah. You know something? You guys are doing some great volunteer stuff.
Oh,
so.
Thanks. Yeah, that's right. I'm totally against that.
Help. We appreciate that. If you want to get more information, go to the website. I'm on there right now. thesupvets.org.
Yeah.
thesupvets.org.
Yeah. And if you're a vet, go info and send an email and I'll respond within 24, 48 hours.
Yeah. Look at what you're doing here. It looks like great stuff. So,
which great. Thanks, Ron. That's actually an Army Ranger, my buddy Whit. So,
out there fishing.
So absolutely. So, Army guys are more than welcome.
Now, what were you, Navy or Marine?
I was Navy. Yeah. And we had our first Marine.
I was going to say, do you let Marines in?
First one came. He brought some crayons. No, he's a great guy. every flavor. We had Coast Guard come.
If you've never had the honor and the pleasure of sitting in a room with a person from the Navy and from the Marines, it is a hysteric event.
It's really funny.
A lot of funny listening to them talking. But really appreciate you coming
Ron,
in.
I appreciate it too.
And we're gonna see what we can do to connect you with some great folks.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you. Be good out there.